All right, what's happening, speculators? Let's fire up the Futures Fanatic live stream. I always say Futures Fanatic Foundation. That's my free course. You can find that in the link down below. We're going to fire up the Futures Fanatic live stream for a special Monday edition here on Monday, September 15th, 2025. Because as you see from the note that I put there, I've got a lot to cover. So put a 1 in the chat if you're first here for picture and sound. That would be great. Just want to remind everybody this presentation is for educational purposes only, and the opinions expressed are going to be those of this guy that's talking right now. And all trades should be considered hypothetical and should not be expected to be replicated in live trading environments. All right, I did a video here this weekend where I mentioned, thank you, Caesar, I mentioned that there's some new news from PropShop and that you wanted to check back after they did their webinar today, which I think is just about done. Thank you, everybody, for the picture and sound. So right now I'm on TickBlaze, which is the preferred platform for PropShop Trader. I do actually have some positions on here. I'm cheating a little bit. Not supposed to use the NASDAQ, but I'm using it in these two accounts. Let me just close one there. See, we have been choppy sloppy for the last couple hours. Just chopping around here at the tops. It's all about waiting for the Fed meeting, likely on Wednesday. But in the interim, wanted to give you this news. So if you've been waiting to sign up or be involved in PropShop Trader, and you were in the EU, there was about 30 countries that you could not participate in. They have now worked out a live relationship over there, so they can take people into live markets in about 27 new European countries. And as such now, you can choose any of the programs that you'd like from PropShop Trader if you are in a variety of different countries. Let me just give you, I'm going to drop in here the link to the video that I did, which will have all the details in case you missed it. I'll put it in the chat and I'll bring it up here. So people that are watching this in replay, I'll put it in the notes of the replay section. Sorry, in the description, if you will. So this is the video right here. PropShop Trader is now supporting 27 new European. So there you go. Drop that in there. And the other big news is that, well, it's big for some people. I don't care that much about the way a lot of these programs are structured. You know me, or if you don't know me, I'm about acorns to oak trees and doing these programs correctly. These are all essentially small account challenges where you should really only be trading micros. You should have a daily risk budget that doesn't exceed 10% of your starting account balance. You should start out with the Dow Jones if you're still struggling. Certainly don't trade the NASDAQ. If you put all that together, you're going to be able to pass eventually and control your risk and your emotional capital in any of these programs, regardless if it's end of day or trailing drawdown or static or what have you. The challenge is that people are not looking at these correctly because all that stuff just has to do with how much of your entire account value. When I say all that stuff, these program components, end of day, even things like consistency rules, which are unfortunate, but none of that should really be much of a factor if you're trading a small account the way you'd trade your own small account. If you're going to risk the entire account balance, then of course that would include any amount that what your high watermark was, right? So what PropShop has done is they've now offered end of day accounts. So if you like the end of day accounts, that's available now. I can go and make this a little bigger here so you can just see on the screen for a little bit. The end of day accounts are for 50,000 is $89.50, and that includes a BOGO. So buy one get one free. So you got a lot going on. You can do this in Europe now. If you want to get an end of day account, you never participated in PropShop because you didn't like the trailing drawdown. Now you have an end of day account. You have an end of day account that includes $2,250 of end of day drawdown, and you get buy one get one free. Okay, so you buy one and you get one free. And I believe, don't quote me on this, I'll check a little later, but I believe that those fees also include the activation. Does anyone know? I believe they include the activation too. So if that's the case, that is a pretty crazy deal. Yeah. I'm doing on YouTube, I'm talking about the opportunity to participate in PropShop Trader here on in Europe, and then also that they now have end of day accounts. And you use code TDG and you can get involved in all that. All right, yes, next question is this TickBlaze layout. How do we get this TickBlaze layout? So I did not prepare properly. What I'm going to do is put the layout, link to the layout back in this broadcast after the stream, or right now I'll respond to these a little later if you send an email to software@tradersdevgroup.com. software@tradersdevgroup.com. Full disclosure, I want everyone to be clear on this because 1 in 1,000 people freaks out. If you're not currently involved in any of my lists, when you send an email to software@tradersdevgroup.com, it just adds you to a catch-all list. Okay, if you don't like it, then just unsubscribe or what have you. Doesn't send you spam or doesn't send you anything like that. But if you send an email to Software Traders Dev Group so that you can get the TickBlaze workspace, which is what you're seeing right here. So this has stay in your lane, which is the strategy here on the right. And stay in your lane today is working great, especially worked extremely well in the Dow Jones. I don't know if anyone in the trade group is here. Probably some of you are, but just look at this perfect lane-based up and down, up and down, up and down. And then now we just bounced off what we call the bid zone, which is one standard deviation from the top of the bid zones, 1 standard deviation from VWAP right here. So it's been a nice range-bound day, even up at these highs. We come in here and do the afternoon trade, even if it's sleepy or if it's moving. A question I'll get asked is, do you think it's going to do this? Do you think it's going to do that? I don't think about anything. I simply just go with the probabilities, which is that for this whole session today, the Dow Jones is traded nicely between these two levels. So if you wanted to trade this strategy, I could teach it to you in 3 seconds here. This is out without considering any additional filters and considerations, of which there are several. But we are going to look to take profits on longs or go short in the offer zone. We're going to look to take profits on shorts or go long, initiate longs in the bid zone. And then we're going to stay out of the middle of the range. That is the way this strategy is taught to start. The whole idea behind trading is to eventually develop your own situational fluency, so you have frameworks in which you can adapt to dynamic markets. The analogy that I use quite often is poker. A lot of traders tend to know the game of poker. If you don't, let me describe it. 2 aces in your hand, if you're playing Texas Hold'em, is a good hand. If you wait all the time for 2 aces, you're going to not do too well because your opponents are going to adjust to that. You need to be adaptive. So in trading, it's the same thing. If you think that there's anything that someone can tell you, okay, this is the opening range breakout strategy, and we're going to use a 15-minute bar, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do that, and we're going to do this. Okay, great. You can backtest that, and it can work for a little while, and you can recalibrate it and make some changes based on new market conditions. But ideally, what you'd like to do is be able to literally in real time watch what is happening in the market and make a determination as to whether that framework of rules, if you will, for an entry based on a setup, which is nothing more than a visual price pattern that you see on the chart. Can you put all that together in your noggin in real time and make the most educated decision that you can? That's called situational fluency. But when you're starting out, you don't even have to know all that much. You can literally just put the orders on the lines. Put an order to sell here, put an order to buy here. Okay, and that's it. So there's a question about saying max accounts is 10. So this is a good question. If you're doing the BOGO, only buy 5, because then you're going to get 5 free ones, I believe. So make sure that you check the small print or what have you so that I'm not misleading you. But I believe, like if you wanted to buy 5 $50,000 end of days right now, I think they would cost you $90 or so. Then you're going to get a coupon. I don't feel like explaining how everything works because you get an email that explains how it works once you buy it. But your free account is then given to you via a coupon that you see in your coupons area within the PropShop dashboard. Okay? So the max amount of accounts you can have is 10. Don't buy 10, just buy 5 on the BOGO deal. All right? Does that make sense? The question about one-time fee or monthly. All their programs, to my knowledge, are monthly. Okay, and since they include, I believe they include the activation fee, which is great. That's great if you can pass an account in under a month. If you're gonna go slow, these programs are not quite as good because it's going to renew, and then you're paying that activation fee built into your subscription each month. I'm a huge fan of going slow. Okay, I have said how it took me almost 3 or 4 months to pass $250,000 accounts trading micros over at Apex. I would not have wanted to be paying my activation fee in each monthly subscription rebill, right? Instead, I only paid about 40 or 50 bucks for the account. How was your day today? How'd you guys do? As again, what we're seeing on the charts here is just sleepy, lack of range. The other thing to note is that we are in what we call an outside day up. Okay, this is all taught in all the materials that I have available for free. You can either do a free trial. You can watch the videos that I have on YouTube about this. It's called a Situational Fluency Workshop. You can get the Futures Fanatic Foundation course. All these links are down below in the description. And then again, I will add the link in the description after the broadcast that will have the way that you can get access to the TickBlaze full setup. Literally one-click install. You install it, and then you go to, you're going to go right over here to menu. And then let me see if my head is blocking this. I think my head might be blocking this. Yeah, let me move this over here. All right, move it over just temporarily. Don't do that. Okay. So you're going to go to menu, and you're going to go to desktops, and you're going to go to recent desktops, and you're going to hit the TDG desktop dock. That's the way I named it. Okay, as long as you don't rename the file, you'll see that there, and you just hit it, and it opens up this desktop that you see right here. All right. Again, if you're just joining, I don't know how much trading we'll be able to do today. Maybe we'll get a little bit of movement. I am short the NASDAQ. Do not trade the NASDAQ until you're ready. What does ready mean? Ideally, you've passed some of these programs using the Dow Jones and the MES. They're easier contracts to control. Then you can mess around a little bit with the NASDAQ because we all know it moves fast, right? We like to be rewarded quickly or get punched in the face quickly, whatever the case may be. So PropShop is now available in Europe. You can use code TDG. Use code TDG, and that'll hook you up on any of these programs. I think in some cases the the code is not necessary. Just want to go to tradersdevgroup.com/PropShop. Because if you don't use that link, then I won't get a list of people that I need to distribute the TickBlaze stuff to. All right. Again, in the markets, we are just farting around here, so not a whole lot to talk about. If you wanted to be aggressive, let's be aggressive. You could put a sell limit there and a buy limit here, here and here.
Order pending. Order pending.
It seems like it's been absolutely forever since we've had a weak close. So this is for tradertainment purposes only. Can you see how the setup looks in TradingView? Sure. In TradingView, it looks like this. Looks the same, except we're using a 5-minute candle because you can't really get the you cannot have modified Rankos on TradingView, and I don't think you ever will. They're not going to expose their tick data that way. So if you want the Rankos, And there's 3 reasons I like the Rankos. Number 1, you get a swing level, which is these. See how there's no swing levels on this chart? Because you can't really generate a meaningful swing on a time-based bar. It doesn't really work. But with tick bars, you can do such, and that's what the Rankos are. So I like the fact that you get that swing level. The second thing I like, and let me just move this out of the way. There you go. I put that on the screen so you see it. The second thing I like about these bar types is they do have some visual price patterns that you can learn to trade. All right, I don't teach that anymore, but there are some visual price patterns just in the bars themselves. One of the original attractions of this bar type was the way you could sort of see these little micro trends as they develop, right? Because the thing is, you're dealing with a lot more data than you are even with a 1 minute or 3 minute or 5 minute, right? You're just dealing with more data. So you get these patterns that emerge. So I like the swing levels. I like the fact that I have some visual price patterns. And the final aspect is that it does allow me to manage a trade in ways that would be pretty difficult to manage on a time-based bar, because you're on the single candlestick and it's moving up and down. It's a little bit more difficult to manage. Now, that being said, these are really for very more active trading and scalping. If you don't do that, we have a lot of people in our room that just trade time-based bars. They don't even need the brick wicks because they're just not trading as frequently as I will trade. The other thing I want everyone to understand is I am approaching this entirely on what is the best strategy and tools to be successful in growing small accounts while managing risk. Because your prop programs, if you're doing that, will always be small accounts. They can be big accounts if you jack them up, put on full size, and get lucky. But essentially, this game is take 2,500 up to 5,000, take 2,500 out. Take 2,500 up to 5,000, take 2,500 out. Take 2,500 up to 5,000, take 2,500 out. Never reset. You don't have to buy any more accounts. I'm still doing the wire-to-wire challenge on the 100,000s that I bought from PropShop, and I think PropShop launched in May. Now, I'm not suggesting you take that long. I don't have the same sense of urgency, and I'm doing a whole lot of things. And I happen to have now nearly 70 accounts that qualify for payouts at other firms. So given that, it's not necessarily my focus. But here we go. We got the Dow Jones approaching this line right here, and we'll see if it gets there. Theme for today is PropShop now available in Europe. So if you're in any of these European countries that were previously France, Italy, Spain, lots of Eastern Europe. And if your question is, well, what about this country or that country? They have a list of countries that are available in that video that I put in there. I'll put it in the chat again so you guys all have access to it. So right here so this is the URL. It's called PropShop Countries. So if you want to know if your country applies, then there you go. All right. So I showed the setup on, let me come back over here and I'll go through some of these questions. Right. Okay. So that was, if there was a question about whether the BOGO renews for free, it does. You keep your costs are whatever you paid for those 5 accounts, and then your free accounts are still free, including the activation. So what you can really do is just cut the price that you paid in half. If you buy 5 and you get 10 total, and you paid $400, I'm not very good at math, but that's probably about $40 per account, plus the activation is included. I showed the setup on TradingView. If we buy prop accounts, one account free, so 2 accounts. Yes, that is correct. Yes, the market is, we're just waiting for FOMC here, I'm pretty sure. It seems simple. It is simple. That's why I teach this. Okay. And so here's a perfect example today where the Dow Jones just behaved perfectly. Down to target, up to target, down to target, or you could reverse it. Not in, wait, long, cover, long, cover, long, cover. However you want to look at this. Obviously, price stayed here. You won't have a single stream where I don't point this out. During the cash session, which is a New York session between 9:30 Eastern Standard Time and 4 p.m., from almost 20 years of backtesting, we found, this is a great stat, that price stayed within 2 standard deviations about 82% of the time. What does that mean? That means it goes out of the bands for 4 or 5 minutes or whatever. There's 390 minutes in the cash session, right? So 80% of those 390 minutes, price is going to stay. That's of every occurrence. Now, if you start to overlay volatility as measured by the ATR, the more range that has taken place prior to the bell ringing, you get a lot of range if you had an economic event at 5:30 a.m., 8:30 Eastern, right? You have an economic event. I don't know why someone's blowing up my phone, but I probably have to look. Okay. All right. Oh, that's what it is. It's regarding a lawsuit. Anytime, it's impossible to live life if you exist and without being sued. All right. So new credit life. It is simple. And then the overlay is, and when I say overlay, you can think of that as a filter or other things to consider, is what is the volatility range? What is the amount of range that's happened? Are we inside the prior session's high or low on the range trader? So we're not going to trade the stay in your lane in isolation. Let me come back up here. We're not going to trade the stay in your lane in isolation, right? And I realized I was on the wrong chart as I was mentioning, I'm sure you guys could imagine in your mind, but we bought here and then we sold there, or we bought here and covered and bought and covered, or we shorted and covered and shorted and covered and shorted and covered, and maybe we went long here and then took every profit at VWAP, which is your first area to. So this is a cherry picking day, but I'm not cherry picking anything. It just happens to be today. This is a day where it just worked out perfectly. It would be almost impossible to lose using this strategy today. But does it work like this all the time? Do markets trend? Of course they do. They produce a lot of micro trends too within the day. Is the market generally a lot higher? Yes, of course it is. Is it easier to be long right now? Yes, of course it is. But nothing with any strategy should ever go wrong because you're in control of pushing the close button when you reach your daily loss limit. That's it. So if the Dow Jones if I had gotten short up here and it just continued to move higher, and by the way, the short up here at 46,332, we had a lot of room to run getting short at 46,332. We could have come all the way back up to these highs. We're trading the DEES contract now, by the way. 46,505s, right? So let's say you get short right here, okay? You get short right here, which would be the equivalent of the +2s, 2 standard deviations for VWAP, and it just starts going higher. Don't be frozen. Don't freak out. Don't send me nasty grams about you just double dog donkey and martingale until it reverses, which is bullshit, and I never do, and you'll never see it on stream, and that's not what I do at all. Don't teach it. Don't do it. I love when I'm taking heat on positions because I can show people in real time in my trade room exactly how to manage a losing position. It's a lot easier to manage a losing position. The challenge that I have as an educator is that more people want to figure out how to optimize their winning trades and are frustrated when they don't get the max out of something and they say they sell too soon, which is true. Many people struggle with that. But that will take care of itself once you learn how to manage risk. So the reason this is super simple, as the comment mentioned, is because, like in many things in life, the trader is the one overcomplicating it. All right. I'm seeing a one-time Gladiator activation fee. Isn't that the activation fee? Maybe someone should check whether those do or do not include the maybe they don't. Everybody, I don't know if these BOGOs over here include it. I'm not sure. Maybe it would say if they do. So don't quote me on this. They might be basically $45 each plus an activation fee because they're end of day. Okay, but I do know that there are accounts you can buy right now, BOGOs that are trailing that do include the activation fee. So make sure you just check. Okay, I don't want to lead anybody astray. Okay, great. Then they include the activation fee. So now I think you have everything that you would need to have out of a prop firm. Let's line it up. Let's do the pros. The pros are a lot of different programs and a lot of different varieties for PropShop. The pros are weekly payouts. The biggest pro for me is that they have a real-time risk monitoring system that will tell you if you are tripping up something that might sacrifice your getting paid. I don't love some of the risk stuff. I'm not a fan of the hedging component. I've talked about that. But at least you're notified if you did something that could potentially violate you from or prohibit you or create a payout denial. So, and you have a fantastic platform, at least in my opinion, continues to get better and better and better. Is it as good as Ninja yet? No, not yet. Not quite yet. Okay? That's just reality. But let's look at the advantages of TickBlaze. I can give you my workspace so that you do not have to install any indicators or do any chart setups. I think that's pretty powerful. You don't have to install a third-party configuration to get the Renko charts if you'd like them, okay? You literally don't have to do anything except connect it to data. Now, here's the downside. They don't have a web-based solution yet. They will, okay, but they don't have it. So if you have to have web-based solutions, then you're probably better off with firms that support Tradeovate and TradingView. But it's just a matter of time. They will support all of that. Mobile, web-based. In the interim, if you watch the video that I did over the weekend, I mentioned that these things are coming. We're not months away. We're weeks away. We're weeks away from a VPS server that you can buy in my partnership with Quant VPS that will have everything set up for you. Again, all you have to do is connect data. It'll have TickBlaze set up with all of the workspace pre-installed. It will have NinjaTrader set up with the workspace pre-installed. Now on NinjaTrader, you will have to license certain things if you want to get access to the order flow suite because those assholes charge for that. Okay? TickBlaze does not charge for any of those things. All right, so that's everything that's going on. And of course, if you're unaware, NeuroStreet and Algo AI and TickBlaze and PropShop are all one entity, and they have a lot of history in providing a bunch of other indicators and strategies and whatever. So if you want to go crazy on all that stuff, you can do that as well. I'm just going to give you mine for free, and then you can come into the trade room and get all the training and teaching that you need to learn how to do this the right way. So these are good questions. If you trade take profit trader on using Ninja, and you're happy with that setup, and you know Ninja, and you know you can connect unlimited amounts of Tradeovate, even if you wanted to add additional ones, maybe use a copy or maybe you don't. I think some of the advantages of PropShop again are the ones I just described, but if you're happy with where you're at, you don't need to add something else. I don't like to spread any kind of rumors, but I have actual emails, almost 15 of them now, from people a little unhappy with Take Profit. I still really like Take Profit. I have evaluations and funded accounts there with 2 different entities. I run multiple business accounts. Everything's been fine. I don't really trade them that much anymore because I took enough payouts to just know it all works. I love the wallet. But they had canceled some people's accounts for really silly things, and they still have a difference between their evaluations and their funded accounts. They go to trailing for a little while. So I don't know. But here's the deal. There's so much choice now, and there are so many good firms. And I did a whole video on all these firms, and we've reached a point of stability, I think. And Take Profit has more history in the market than PropShop does. But I don't want to overpromise, but there are things coming that will make it more and more and more and more and more compelling to learn TickBlaze as well. Okay? But I'm going to offer the same things on Ninja for quite a while as well. And by offer, I mean basically dynamic ATMs that when you enter, it will put the stops and targets at the exact right price, not based on ticks or a static value, but based on the a 2-to-1 or a 1-to-1 from where your entry is. So, for instance, if you get short here at 46,283 and your first target is right here, it'll calculate the stop and take profit instantly for you. And then, of course, you can move them all around like you would with any ATM. Well, that's always been the case, though. So there are ways to get the order flow suite, but it's not free. If you deposit an account, if you open an account with Ninja and you're trading with them, that's not free, right? You can also pay a small fee via Tradeovate and get access to it on Ninja, I think. So there's ways to do it. But if you're trading with them and being charged commissions, you have an account with them. It's not. That's good if they've done that finally. If they no longer require, they're not holding out for this $1,000, $1,500 payment for their platform. That might eventually change, which would be nice. Anyone feel like they want to mess around with shorting gold way up here? I kind of feel like it, but I was short for a heartbeat in the trade room today, and then as soon as the trade room closed, I got out, thank goodness, around 37.04s. I had said I wasn't going to short it until new highs, and we went out and made new highs. We got through the 37, 17s, 15s there. Now just hanging out up here. So another example of an easy framework to avoid trying to fade strength is just, this is called outside day up. Once price gets outside the prior day's high, you do not mess around with it, or the warning lights should go off. Okay? I don't need to give you all kinds of other considerations. Just outside day up today on the S&P, outside day up today on the NASDAQ, Dow Jones inside day, well inside. In fact, the Dow Jones, we have an offer zone. It's way up here. I have not created the offer zone on this chart yet, have I? All right, we need to create the offer zone. So we're going to do a rectangle, and we're going to go like this. I thought I had built an offer zone. This doesn't look too bad with the rectangle, but it's pretty ugly. All right, so we're going to go background. It's going to be like a dark red, and then the border color is going to be red. Border color be red. make this a little bigger, or like a 3, hit save. It's going to be called offer zone. And then you add this to favorites. I know there's an easier way to do that. I say that all the time, but that's how I do it. All right, so there's our offer zone. So inside day, good for range trading. Outside day up, bad for range trading. There you go. Oh, thank you. That's awesome. Appreciate it. I do not know the time for this end of day account promotion. They're changing their promotions quite a bit if you're referring to the end of day account promotion at PropShop. But I don't think anything's changing with the ability to sign up in Europe. So if you're in any of those European countries, nothing. You can now use PropShop. You can have evaluations. You can buy direct accounts. You can buy whatever you want. So good question is if the same if it's below the prior session low. So here's a question here. So no. Outside day ups are inherently more treacherous to deal with because shorting is more difficult in every facet. I can improve your trading. If you happen to be someone who is short more than 50, 55% of the time, or if you're seeing you're short, go back and look at your stats about 60% of the time. It's going to be tough for you actually in any markets, even when the market regime changes. Because as we know, when things go down fast, but when the short covering comes in, all bets are off, right? So on outside day downs, yes, you have to make a consideration that, okay, we're outside the prior session's range, so I need to be careful here looking for trying to pick a bottom. But outside day downs generally are highly more preferred to then buy, looking for mean reversion back up into the range. And we have some stats on that. And I don't know if Edgeful has stats on that. That would be a great stat. How often do outside day up days return to range versus outside day downs? I'm going to pull something out of my ass and just say that outside day downs return to the range more frequently than up. So there's a question about the BOGO promotion and what happens if you blow something up or reset, or what happens to the other account. I don't know the details of all that because I never blow up accounts. So just don't blow up accounts. Just trade them properly. And I mean, I'm really starting to mean that, folks. I mean, I know everyone wants all these flexibility, but how about just buy them and just trade them real slow, and maybe not too slow because you're paying the activation fee on built in on half of them or an entire one, or however you want to look at it. But if you can get 10 accounts for $45 or $50, I get it. I know that to a lot of people that's $500 a month for a few months is $1,000 real dollars. But in terms of starting a business and doing this properly, and then having these things that you can cash flow. So anyway, I don't know the intricacies of how that works. I think the accounts are just all independent, is my understanding. So if you blow up one of the quote unquote free ones, you either reset it or cancel it. But I don't see how you would pay any fee for that, other than the activation, other than the reset fee that you paid. Man, markets are really, really slow, as I guess somewhat expected at these highs. So we'll just wait and see. I don't think anything. We'll see if we get any kind of movement around the 10 till mark. But again, the broadcast today is to talk about this, which I have talked about extensively, I guess, at this point. The proper level to short is not here. It would be way up there. So let me cancel this.
Order cancelled. Order modified.
Choppy sloppy. I don't even know what a pogo is. A pogo stick. My understanding is that you get one account of the exact same size. So that's how it works. Okay. Well, the intricacy of that I don't know. So if someone else knows, you can answer it. I'm just here to share the high level detail of what's happening. You can participate now in 27 new countries in Europe, and they have end of day accounts. Oh, pass one, get one. Well, to my knowledge, this is not pass one, get one. This is BOGO. Buy one, get one. You'll get a coupon. Right. I did this to test it. It's pretty simple. Right after you purchase, go to your coupons within the inside the website, and then you'll find a coupon section. And then you go back and buy the same thing, the same account, put in the code, and everything is free. So you don't have to even pass one. They just give you one. Do the end of days have the same max contracts? I don't know. You'd have to go and look at what that matrix is for the end of days. End of days. I would imagine that the buying is the same, but maybe it's a little less. That's another thing that doesn't matter, because you shouldn't be trading more than 3 or 4 micros max in any $50,000 account. The assumption being that you're doing a $50,000 account. If you do 150,000 or 250,000, maybe you could trade 6 micros. Yeah, I don't know what's going on now in the chat. I guess we're getting very specific about this. Did my guy send an email that oh, it does say pass one, get one. So he didn't know. He didn't know. Now I understand. Now I understand. All right. I understand now what you guys are saying. The VPS for the one that we're going to do is going to be about $99 a month. Yes, and it'll come with TickBlaze installed, whatever the latest is at that time. Basically, I'm creating a snapshot, right? And I'll be offering that snapshot. So you secure the server. You can buy whatever program you want. I mean, we're going to go with the $99 one, but you can buy whatever you want, and then you can get the snapshot of the server. Okay, the copy trading question that keeps coming up. I can't quite really endorse anything yet. I still find that it's a little bit more problematic than I like to deal with. That being said, you can use either ETP or Thor on TickBlaze. It's not really a TickBlaze thing. It's just a rhythmic thing, right? And you can connect to a bunch of other things too if you use something like Thor. For the price, I don't think you can go wrong trying out Thor for a little bit. I haven't been able to secure all the things that I was looking for. It's just my fault. I got too much going on. And then you might have heard, I mean, TickBlaze will have its own copier probably sometime this year. So just a little later this year. All right, we stalled out there right at the 24,535s. We stalled out.
Order pending.
Here on the Dow Jones, no fills. Most days, if you want to make sure that you're not going to overtrade, just put your chart, just look at the Dow Jones and trade something like stay in your lane or range trader with orders resting away from price, and you'll find that, wow, you can really trade a lot less. Today, I'm not using any copy traders. I just have positions on in 2 accounts. I have 10 accounts here. I have 3 gladiators and 6 warriors. The first 5 I ever bought, and then some mishmash of stuff as I go through it. So I have these 10 accounts.
Order modified.
So again, on the copy trading thing, that's what I'm waiting on a little bit for the server, is to determine how we want to do that. I think what it'll look like is a choice of either affordable indicators or Replicanto on Ninja, and then probably Thor for TickBlaze. But again, Thor can do a lot of other things. And then there's a cloud-based version of it now too, which I found to be less stable even than the other one. And the tests that I'm doing are not as significant as what some of you people will do. You people, which will put on, 10 accounts, maybe more, 20, 30 connected through 4 different firms with all kinds of different connections, and you're going to have ATMs on your lead accounts, and then you're going to wonder why it all goes to hell. So I'm just testing it with 3 to 5 accounts at the same firm, not even across firms, and then using no ATMs or anything like that. And both ETP and Thor are getting close. Anyway, that's a long-winded way of saying nothing yet. If you want really good copiers, the best copiers out there, in my opinion, are the one on Project X. It just works, right? And it gives you the exact same fill price. So just use Project X and copy the accounts that you have from any firm that supports Project X. The next after that would definitely be stitching things together on Trade of 8 prop firms using NinjaTrader and Replicanto or affordable indicators, and all that is covered in the blog post that I did about it on my website. All right, I think we got just a few more minutes left here. I'm not sure we need to stay through. Why don't we just stay, see if we get a little move higher here, which it looks like is what's happening. Okay, so to review, PropShop now available in the EU. Congratulations. PropShop added today end-of-day accounts, so you can have that as an option if you'd like that. And there are some BOGO sales going on. I did have my guy put a typo in the email that we sent. It's not POGO. You do not have to pass anything. Just buy one. You'll get a coupon for another one. And don't buy more than, if you have no relationship there, don't buy more than 5 accounts, because you can only have 10 active at a time. So I think they'll allow you to buy more than 5 if you'd like, if your plan is to do some silly stuff that I know some of you devious people like to do, which is just gamble it up on a few of them or whatever, and then say, well, I'll change my ways after I pass them. That's right. 10 contracts pass in 2 minutes. All right. NASDAQ's creeping up a little bit. Let's watch the Dow Jones over here. See if we can get a fill here and here.
Modified.
On the range trader, this is where my orders would be resting. The chances of those getting hit this afternoon are very, very low, but that's what it would look like. Pretty constructive profile here today on the Dow Jones.
Order filled. Order submitted. Order filled. Order filled. Order filled. Order filled.
Tesla having quite the day here, huh? Musk buying a bunch of stock, right? So Nvidia is down a little bit on some of that Chinese news, and then Tesla is up. It was up more earlier, wasn't it? I cannot remember a time where we're going to go into an interest rate cutting cycle, and investment banks and money center banks and banks are all at highs. Like, look at Goldman Sachs just going nutballs every day. TikTok news, so that's good for all the competitors.
Order filled. Position open.
Uh-oh. Short right into the close. I hope it goes higher so we can watch this go higher, and you'll see what we do. It's super complex. I don't want to be short there too.
Order canceled.
All right, so just in this one account. Oh my goodness, what if it keeps going up? Well, if it keeps going up, I'm going to add here and here, but we'll see what happens.
Order pending.
Yes, a request for a $25,000 account. I was a fan of those for a while, but I got to tell you, with what I'm teaching now, I just think that puts you at like a $125 to $150 daily risk budget. That's really hard to navigate around. I think. I mean, even with micros, that's just really hard to navigate around. There goes the Dow.
Order filled.
All right. Now, 1 minute till the close.
Order filled.
I do have an ad up here, so if I didn't have an ad, I would go ahead and cancel this, but I don't have an ad. So what I can do is just, I can just go like that,
Order filled.
whatever. And right at the close, just have my hand on this button right here.
Order filled.
All right, and I'm just going to hit the close button
Order filled.
and then
Position
cancel all.
closed. Order canceled.
There we go. That was pretty easy. See? Gen 5 level. Ooh, is that like a, is that an ICT term? Gen 5. Optimus Prime. Optimus Prime.
Order filled. Order filled. Order filled. Order filled. Order filled. Order filled. Order filled.
All right. Let's look quick look at this NASDAQ, which I was in. Just a one lot. I think we're going to be able to handle this heat. We should be all right. Come and get me. Oh, a Mentor Q options level. 6680. Well, 6680 is a ways from what we have to think about today. Today, I don't think we're thinking a whole lot of 6680. I got a little MES short up here in Bullinox. I'm just going to hit the close button.
Order filled.
And I'm going to go ahead and cancel all these orders. The screen that you're looking at, what it's got going on is it has TickBlaze and Ninja on a VPS. This is not the Quant VPS, but it's here on a VPS. So this was a whopping 41 bucks made in those accounts today.
Order filled.
And apparently I have a really small short over here in this account right here. So we caught the little bit of a top up there, 24.50. Closed one. We had a 2 lot on.
Order submitted.
Run a little buy stop here. Jex gamma exposure. Yeah. All right, everybody. That will be it for today. So just a quick recap. You got use your words, Rod. What in the heck's going on here? There we go. Oh, for those that wanted to see this, there it is. So a little red in some of the scouts there. Decent money across most of the accounts today. The account in the middle there is a little bit of an outlier because it was short gold, and I thought I closed it, and it just kept a gold short open, so it lost a bunch of money. But by a bunch of money, I mean $305, well within the daily risk budget at $880. Anyway, that's a look over there. Profitable over here on TickBlaze today, even with this little loss. And that will be it for today. Would you recommend what else do we got here? Would you recommend the 150K take profit account or the 25 take profit? I don't recommend any of that. I mean, that's such a difference. Why don't you split the middle and do 50 or 100? The sweet spot now, I really believe, is 50. Use $50,000 accounts and then use copiers and buy a few across a number of different firms. I have the bigger accounts just because I've said before, I just needed more time to have some evaluation accounts that I wasn't having to consider whether I wanted to cancel them or activate them. I have not taken any payouts from PropShop. It will probably be quite a while before I do. Maybe if I ever do that at all. But let's take a look at this right here. Go to PropShop prop payouts right here, and we got some certificates here now from PropShop from people that aren't me. That's the most important thing. They're not me. But what they are is members of our trade group. I don't know how Christopher got a payout of $150, but that's cool if you can take a payout that small. Yeah, I think Sean's mentioning, I think that is the sweet spot, which is $50,000 accounts, $200 to $300 daily risk budgets. We have some superstars now that have their DRBs up to $400 or $500 because they've earned the right. When you can get your DRBs on $50,000 accounts up to $500, you're in really good shape because that means that you've been taking payouts, that you are comfortable with eating into whatever buffer when you're allowed to. So the math for me, everybody, is I have 150 and 250s, but mostly at most places 150s. And in the case of something like Apex, when you get it to $5,000 or $5,100, you can take out $2,750. Sometimes I do, but normally I just take out $2,500, leaving me with about $2,500 left in the account. Now, if you're trading minis or doing anything other than the methodology that I teach, and I really mean anything other than the methodology I teach, which is risk-adjusted returns based on your skill set and a reasonable amount of percentage of your starting account balance. But my case is slightly different. Once I take a payout from and bring my account down back to $2,500, I take, you know what I do? I take my DRB from $800 back down to $400. Okay. Now that 400 DRB is about $150 more than it should be if you're just trading with 2,500. But as you build your skills, you can figure out how to do all that. All right. I think that should be about it. Last series of questions here are what? Are the new end of day accounts also end of day once you pass the evaluate? That's a great question, and they better be. I would hope so. Did anyone check the small print on that? Because I don't like end of day and then it changes to trailing. I think that's what happens over a take profit, I think. Nice work today. Okay, great. That'll be it for today. Yes, please do hit the like button. It really does help the channel. If you find that this can be helpful for anybody else, and you can share it and share what we're doing here. I saw today that our friend over there that lost 250,000 but really didn't lose 250,000. She was streaming today and had 25,000 concurrent people watching her. Yeah, hope she was teaching something good. I guess you can get 25,000 people watching your stream if you have 500,000 subscribers. I only need to 10x and I'll be at 500,000 subscribers. All right, everybody, stay green, trade like you mean it. Check out PropShop if it's your thing. I'll be streaming here tomorrow as well. Go Raiders. Be good. Bye-bye.